For the history of currency falls, we are aware of those that happened in the Great Depressions in the 30s and just before the Second World War. And of course, we knew the reasons, and they are very similar to what we experienced. By the time Mr. President took over, the debt sustainability ratio was about 97%. So you can imagine every month your revenue, 97% of it goes to debt service. The rest is... So I'm just trying to underscore the importance of Nigerians to know why and of course how difficult it was for Mr. President to take off his government.
In the next few days, the Students' Loan Fund will become operational, and Nigerian youth will now have easier access to higher education, irrespective of tribe, religion, or geographical location or godfather. On power, I have observed the increased transmission capacity of the country that now peaks at 14,000 megawatts.
Let's get Ismail Ahmed to talk to us on some of these issues. Thank you so much, Ismail, for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me.
When your party and leaders in your party say, don't blame Bola Tinubu for the economic challenges, do you agree to that kind of stance? And you heard what Issa Yuguda said.
Well, I agree to a large extent, Sheon, because like the last speaker said, the president of NLC, I think it will be unfair, to blame any one government at a particular point in time about the wars, the economic wars. I think it has been issues that have, been perennial for quite some time, and they have kind of accumulated over the course of several decades. There has been series of bad decisions and opportunities that were left, untaken or untapped for so long by so many other administrations before this. I think what this administration or this president is facing is he made a decision, and I know that for a fact because, for a couple of times I've spoken to him during the campaign, and I know he used to say that some of the most difficult decisions that have to be taken by any administration must be taken within the first year of its, incumbency, because those are the time, that is the time where usually governments enjoy a certain honeymoon that they need to take certain hard decisions to correct. There are so many realignment and corrections that need to be taken in Nigerian economy, and the realignments and corrections everybody knows are not easy and they are not painless. So I would agree that the president or the administration in its entirety is not to blame. I can see why a lot of people would see that these hard decisions could have been tactically taken at different times, to ease the pain for the common man. But they are decisions that needed to be taken because during the campaign, we've heard all the candidates, of all the major political parties say basically the same thing. They're going to take away the subsidy. They're going to take away unified exchange rate. People cannot be subsidizing the dollar. The government cannot be subsidizing the dollar for a lot of people. What used to be in force was you could apply for a license for a BDC, for Bureau de Change, for example, pay your 35 million naira to CBN, have them hold it for you for about 3 to 6 months, return it back to you, and basically be giving you'll be bidding for foreign exchange, and you'll be given every week. They had the foreign reserve, the buffer to do that. So basically CBN was giving people free money to be able to sell and just make the change and pocket the difference. So all these decisions were taken, and the president believed that they needed to be taken, and he took it from day one in office. And, yes, they are not easy to swallow, but he is not to be blamed. I agree.
This is not a blame game in the sense that it involves the lives and livelihoods of people, the real people that are impacted, which can determine whether they live or they die. Because these policies actually determine the lives of real Nigerians. So the question is that I'm not sure those who voted President Tinubu were actually looking for who to hold responsible. They're looking for someone who said, I can do it. But now not doing it, can you exonerate yourself from saying, yes, I'm trying to do it, but I'm not getting, but you cannot blame me? Is that fair to those who voted the president into office?
But I can do what? I think he is actually... He said that he was going to take a subsidy. He said he was going to unify the exchange. Those are promises he made on the campaign trail. You followed us on those campaign trails.
Absolutely.
He said
but
those
the question
things.
is that, when the opportunity to port your lines came in a competitive telecoms environment, and you can actually move from one telecom operator to another, when you try it and you see that it's not working, you move to another. it tells you that when that's an example of the variation in the choice Nigerians had, and that those who will say they are disappointed. For example, I had a guest a few days ago who says most of the economists on the President Bola Tinubu government are more or less tax collectors because they are levying and boarding Nigerians and collecting more from Nigerians. He said the renewed hope is more like renewed hopelessness. These are the assessment of those who think that this president, in terms of economy, has done woefully.
Have you ever heard of at any time in the history of the world that there has been a leader, both political, religious, anyone that some people do not criticize? People would criticize. It's a free country. We're in a democracy. People would say what they feel, and they have the right to do so. And some of their arguments may be valid. You may have counter to those, some of those arguments. What I'm trying to say is, you are asking whether the president should be blamed for the economic woes of the country. And I agree that he should not be blamed. I'm saying that, yes, decisions have been taken over the course of several decades in this country by previous administrations that has led us to this. This president realized that, look, there are certain difficult decisions that has to be made. Now, there is a reason why they are called difficult decisions. There are reasons why they are called painful decisions.
Who should we blame?
This is painful. What?
Who should we blame if you are not blaming Bola Tinubu?
No, why do we need to blame someone? Because blaming is not solving the problem. Okay, so what? So if you get someone
who
to blame,
should we hold accountable?
No, for example, holding accountable, the government in power must be held accountable. That's holding accountable is completely different from blaming. If you're looking for someone to blame for your lot in life, so what does that do if you blame that person? So I give you a scapegoat, you keep blaming him. So what else after that? Does it solve your problem? No, it doesn't solve your problem.
He said he asked for a job.
No, you need someone
that needs to do it. Your party went and told Nigerians. Did your party lie to Nigerians about your capacity and ability to do the job?
You are talking as if the president is apologizing for the decision he has made. He has never apologized for it.
But the Nigerian people are suffering for it.
No, it is a painful decisions have been made, but they are needed to be made.
For how long?
What do you mean for how long?
For how long?
No, I don't know for how long. I am not an economist. I can't tell you for how long, but I do know for a fact that bad decisions that have taken by previous administrations and previous governments, be it military juntas or some other military and civilian administration that had passed, decisions that have been deferred because some leaders were too cowardly to take some of those difficult decisions because of the popular reaction, were left by a certain leader that would come at some point in the life of this administration to take those decisions. Now, you can argue, and this is what maybe I might subscribe to, you can argue the tacticality of taking those decisions, whether one should come after the other, whether for each one decision that comes, there should be other things that should come along with it in terms of soccer, whatever. That's an argument that you can have. But to say that, that we are ducking our heads in the clouds, or as if we are behaving as if we didn't make those promises that we're going to take off this subsidy.
Your party's hands are on the plow. Your party's hand on the plow. You requested for the job.
And we take
I remember in the campaign when your party defeated Jonathan, and you blamed Jonathan for the rot. That's what the government did, and they blamed Jonathan. You literally took air out of that government to win the election.
We blame PDP.
Even for now.
No, we blame PDP. We blamed Jonathan particularly for not believing in the Chibok girls' abduction. But we blame PDP for maladministration of this country. But what particularly happened under Jonathan that we keep harping on was that it was the Chibok girls' abduction, and which we believe that the government at that time didn't even believe the abduction actually took place. So those are the things we actually particularly blame Jonathan for.
So can we also
in terms of maladministration, we blame the whole of the PDP, including the administration.
Would you agree tonight, Ismail, that there is a maladministration?
Just like President Obasanjo blamed the military junta when he came into office.
Would you agree, Ismail, if you're pragmatic tonight, that there is a maladministration in your party's governance today, considering the indices and the economic indices that we see today? For example, inflation figure today is above 33%.
I agree.
Would you agree? Food inflation.
I would agree. I would agree with you that some of the hard decisions that we have taken have caused significant discomfort in families of Nigerians.
Isn't that maladministration?
It's not maladministration.
What is a maladministration?
If you go to an infirmary, for example, and you needed a certain dislocation fixed, you do know that there would be discomfort in fixing that dislocation. You know that for a fact, and the doctor will tell you that. It's going to be painful. If he's going to inject you with a needle, he's going to tell you this is going to be painful. You just have to be patient for it. We never, at any point in time, deceived ourselves that this was going to be easy, or it was going to be painless, or it was going to be nice and rosy in the first 1 year. Yes, there's so many people, even within the party, they're like, okay, are we taking in these hard decisions too many at one time? Are we taking one hit too many? Each one taking us a bit closer to the breaking point. People are suffering in multitudes, and they have been for a long time. But decisions needed to be made,
How can
these hard
Nigerian
decisions.
people trust your government that it can deliver on what they said? Even 1 year they are suffering this much.
No,
What do you want to tell them to make them think that these sufferings will go on for the next 3 years?
No, who said it's going to go on for the next 3
No,
years?
because it's only what you see today that you can use to calculate the future.
No, that's not true. That's not how government works. That's not how life works. The fact that you are wearing a suit now doesn't mean you're wearing a suit tomorrow. You probably will see you in kaftan. Doesn't change anything. So what I'm saying is, what is going on right now is that decisions were taken. Those are hard decisions. None of these decisions was not promised during the campaign, not only by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, but other candidates as well. All of them said the same thing. All of them had flowery speeches in their campaign stumps about how they are going to take away the subsidy, from petroleum products, and how they are going to unify the exchange rate, how the elites are being subsidized because they go shopping, and how they say all these things. Now, but right now we are in a situation where things need to realign. The president has taken hard decisions. It's discomforting. We are all feeling it. We are all feeling the pinch. Nobody is immune to that, as far as I know, within my circle. But this, I wouldn't say the president is to be blamed for. But you know me, Sheun, if there are things that I believe directly that we have deliberately sidestepped or did not do right, I will tell you. I'm not going to mince my words.
Let's take a breather. The storm on the cloud is gathering, Ismail, against your party. Oppositions are coming together. And these forces are actually preparing to remove your party from prominence in the next election. And the planning is coming so early. And the fact that there is trouble within your party, I'd like to know what your views are, because we need to take a break, everyone. But when we come back, we'll be hearing from Ismail Ahmed. That is what is happening in the opposition. And it does look that there are political leaders in this country who are coming together who think that in 2027, there will be some kind of tsunami politically to upstage your party from prominence.
Well, that is the job of opposition, isn't it? The job of the opposition is to always threaten to take away government from the party in power. So that's not surprising. I don't know why that is a big deal. You know, it's not. In fact, as a government as a party in office, we would relish, the possibility of a very strong opposition to keep us on our toes and actually do democracy the way it should be done. Not all this.
With the way your party is running government, do you think that your party can withstand the storm, a strong political opposition in 2027?
Ultimately, Nigerians would make a decision based on what they know of the people who are running for particular offices at every point in time. Not all these photo ops that we see. So I'm not concerned about it. It's something that I look forward to a very meaningful opposition, because we haven't seen that since we got into office. We were the last bastion of opposition that was really at the forefront of doing its work from 2011 all the way to 2015, and we took over power with strategic alliances and doing our work very well. Since we got into office, so I don't think we've seen.
Let me anchor on what is happening within your party. There is trouble. You are from Kano State.
Yes.
What is going on? There is a battle. There is a strong opposition against your party at the national level coming from your state, and all of those local politics is also targeted at one thing, isn't it? And what could that be?
I'm actually confused. What trouble you're talking about? What trouble is going on in Kano, in APC Kano?
Did you see the amendment to some of the laws in Kano State? Did you see what is happening in terms of allegation of corruption against your national chairman? Did you see all of those politics?
No, hold on. If you're talking about you said there was a problem within the APC in Kano. We don't have problem within the APC in Kano.
I'm saying that the storm is coming from the Kano. Yes, within your party, there are those also who are calling for the head of some members of the NWC.
You see, an opposition party took over power in Kano, and let's not kid ourselves. It was not a friendly opposition. It was a battle to the last minute. We went all the way to the Supreme Court. This same thing almost happened in 2019 when Dr. Abdullahi Umar Ganduje was running for his second term, and it was the Supreme Court that separated us in the first place. So there is a bitter rivalry, bitter one, of course, between the camp of Dr. Abdullahi Umar Ganduje and the camp of the former governor of Kano State, Dr. Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso. I mean, that is not a secret, right? And the NNPP was created more or less, was given life more or less to take over power in Kano much more than anything else. So whatever is happening from that camp should not surprise any politician, because of course they would spare nothing to make sure that they go after who they consider a political adversary. So I don't see it. I'm not surprised at all. But we don't have a problem within the APC family, either in Kano or the national level. We don't have that problem.
I love the way you created a defense as though there is really no storm. We don't have time again. We're totally out of time. But thank you so much. It's always a pleasure.
Now, wow. So tell us, if not Tinubu, who are we going to blame? We should blame you for Tinubu's mismanagement, Tinubu's failure, Tinubu's bad policies. Who are we going to blame? We should blame you, or we should blame Buhari. 1 year in office, 1 year of hopelessness and deception, according to Professor Usman. So who are we going to blame for Tinubu's mismanagement, recklessness? Yes, Buhari did well. Buhari did very bad. That was why we needed a good Samaritan, somebody to help us where Buhari has left us. Tinubu came to add fire to the fire already burning. If we have known that it was going to be like this, we could have just asked Tinubu Buhari to continue third term in office rather than allow Tinubu to come in and worsen the whole situation. Buhari left a huge debt that you people have been saying, continue to say 1 year in office. Buhari left a huge debt. Now, we know Tinubu Buhari did very bad. That's why we needed Tinubu or needed somebody. But Tinubu said he can do it. Now it is your turn. You have the floor. Do it. Is it Tinubu Buhari who asked Tinubu to utter a word from that very day of inaugural speech to say subsidy gone without planning? Without planning, subsidy gone. You never put anything in place that caused problem. Up to today, still causing problem. Subsidy gone. Is it Buhari? No. They said, okay, Buhari had a plan of removing subsidy. He said subsidy was going to last in June last year. So there's a probability Buhari couldn't have removed it, could have let the subsidy going. They could have thought at least over it and say, okay, no problem. They've been managing it. So if Tinubu say, Buhari said he was going to remove subsidy, why didn't you wait? Why didn't you put things in place before you said subsidy gone? Now, is it Buhari who asked Tinubu to mismanage the fund? Is it Buhari who asked Tinubu to fruit the naira? Is it Buhari who asked Tinubu to remove the subsidy? Is it Buhari? No. Is it Buhari who asked Tinubu to give the Muslim for 90 billion for preaching money to just waste 90 billion naira? Is it Buhari who asked Tinubu to do that? Mismanagement. Is it Buhari who asked Tinubu to give 5 billion for office of the First Lady without any constitutional right? No. Mismanagement. Is it Buhari who asked Tinubu to give 15 billion for office of the Vice President to renovate his office? No. Mismanagement. Is it Buhari who asked Tinubu to give 10 billion for the office of Chief of Staff to renovate his office? No. Mismanagement. Is it Buhari who asked Tinubu to buy SUV each one worth 150 and above million naira without proper planning? Was it Buhari? No. Mismanagement. Was it Buhari who asked Tinubu to pay for yacht? How many billions of naira? No. So all these are bad policy from the government. So we should hold him responsible for mismanagement, for incompetence in office. This has nothing to do with Buhari. So we should blame you. Wow, you just come to defend indefensible. The only person that will come and speak on this issue that Tinubu 1 year in office that will say Tinubu did well, Tinubu is doing well, giving is only APC members. They are the only APC members. Other parties or non-party can never. I have not seen anything good in APC, and it's not going to get better anytime soon. 3 years, remaining 3 years is going to be suffering, cry, talk. If you are tired, go home and drink water and sleep. That's it. This one not come. So we are not to blame Tinubu. We should blame you. Also, please, what do you think? Who is to be blamed here? We should blame this man or who? Please like, share, comment, and subscribe to this YouTube channel. To my YouTube channel, please. I'm begging, please. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Let's grow this channel, please.